Alicia Gray is having a word with someone in the crowd, and now
Alicia Gray of the Atlanta Dream pointed at an Indiana Fever fan, claimed something happened, and security rushed to remove people, only for that story to completely fall apart when details didn't line up. And while the Dream scrambled with mixed narratives, the Fever were too busy making history, snapping a playoff drought in front of a roaring home crowd. The contrast was clear. One side spinning a lie, the other side spinning the scoreboard. That's not just embarrassing. It's the perfect setup for a Game 3 showdown you won't want to miss. If you support the Fever, then comment, "I've got the Fever." Let's go. What exactly did Alicia Gray think she heard from the crowd that night? And why did it explode into such a mess? That's the part people still can't quite figure out. Because almost immediately after she made her gesture toward the Indiana section, the story went in several different directions. On live TV, you saw her turn, point, and signal to security. A few fans stood up, confused, and staff escorted them out while the broadcast quickly cut away from the camera. In that moment, it seemed like something big had happened. An accusation this bold in the middle of a playoff game set a tone that Atlanta wanted everyone to pick up on. Their star had been disrespected, their team had been wronged, and the focus needed to shift away from the scoreboard and onto the stands. At first glance, you might think this was about some outrageous comment, something that would demand attention and removal. But the very next day, different outlets started describing it in completely different ways. Some described the interaction as nothing more than light heckling, the kind of thing every athlete hears during a tense game. Others hinted it was more personal and serious, though without offering clarity on what was actually said. That contrast immediately raised eyebrows. If you're going to remove fans from a playoff environment, shouldn't the details be consistent? Instead, what we had was a messy patchwork of descriptions, none of which matched what people inside the arena were sharing. Eyewitness accounts started trickling out, and that's when the foundation of Gray's version began to crack. One person who sat near the incident swore the fan had only shouted, "You're good, Lex." She's not even trying anymore, clearly directed as encouragement to Lexi Hull rather than anything nasty toward Gray. It wasn't vulgar, it wasn't threatening. It was standard sports talk. Yet somehow, that benign comment managed to escalate to player frustration, a signal to security, and the distraction of removing paying fans from their seats. If that doesn't sound like a stretch, then what does? And this is where the entire narrative lost steam. Those fans who were removed, it didn't stay gone. Reports confirmed they were back in their seats later in the game, which says everything about how minor the offense truly was. If something serious had been said, security doesn't ask you to take a quick timeout before letting you waltz right back. By the end of the night, the optics were undeniable. It looked less like an issue of bad fan behavior and more like a player who couldn't handle basic home court heckling in the middle of a blowout.